Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I just got back from deer hunting. I was at the Hunting and Fishing Club. You remember, ProCoinNews.com is the official sponsor of the Digital Asset Investor Hunting and Fishing Club, and I was there for the last couple of days. In fact, I'll tweet out a picture of my ProCoin News camouflage hat too. And so anyway, it's amazing. You unplug in this space for just a second, and everything moves so fast that there's so many things I miss. So I gathered a few of them together here. First thing I want to point out is one of my sponsors, Clinton Donnelly, who is CryptoTaxAudit.com. You can click on the link in the top of the description of this video. He's got an audit defense program. You can also schedule a private consultation. He specializes in crypto taxes. Well, look at him. He's in the Bahamas. He says, I'm here in the Bahamas to remind Sam Bankman-Fried that taxes are owed on income even if they're obtained by fraud or theft. Also, a Form 5471 will be due on those 70 companies he constructively owns. Don't forget the AML forms 8938F-bar. So what a great little marketing trick. I don't know if he was planning to go down there anyway, probably so. But anyway, look in the top of the link of the top of the description. Now, this guy is famous for taking his shirt off and yelling at Sam Bankman-Fried after the thing first went off. But I'm afraid that this is what Sam Bankman-Fried is in for at his little place in the Bahamas. More of this type of stuff. This is funny.
Samuel Bankman-Fried! I once respected you. I once thought that you were a true, altruistic individual. But now I see you're nothing but a liar and a snake. People put their trust in you, and you shit on it. I hope that you and your cronies
Here comes security.
Go directly to jail.
I'm sure that's the security guards at his little complex there are getting sick of that. Now, check this out. Stuart Alderati had tweeted this out, what's today's date anyway? It's the 4th, a couple days ago. Ripple's reply brief is public. You can view it here. And James Phelan had put it out. This is our final submission where we ask the court to grant judgment in our favor. After 2 long years, Ripple is proud of the defense we've mounted on behalf of the crypto industry. We've always played it straight with the court. Can't say the same for our adversary. And John Deaton sums it up. Let me translate what he's really saying. In the 2 years that Ripple has defended itself versus the SEC's massive overreach, with so much on the line, the Ripple team maintain a faithful allegiance to the law, something the judge herself said the SEC lacked. And then Brad Garlinghouse came in. He said, I said it on day one, we will aggressively fight to get clear rules for the entire industry in the U.S. Congrats to all of Team Ripple for getting us to this point. Ripple stood strong and withstood the SEC's onslaught. I look forward to being on the right side of justice. Now, there's a couple takes here. The first one's David Goldstein. Ripple will win. I like the sound of that. Crypto industry will win as well. And then Tony from Thinking Crypto had Roger Ver on his show. And Roger Ver, for those of you that don't know, he was literally one of the guys that funded Ripple in the very beginning when it was just Jed McCaleb, him, and I think maybe David Schwartz. Well, he weighs in on how he thinks the case is going to end.
Tough question for you. Do you think Ripple is going to win this?
Yeah, I think Ripple will win. Mm-hmm. But if I can add to that, they'll win at the expense of maybe tens of millions of dollars, maybe $100 million plus spent on this. That's all money that they could have used to pay software engineers to build better tools to build on Ripple, or better user interfaces, or better wallets, or better user integrations with all these different things. So that's maybe $100 million of fees that went to not make the world a better place. And the world is that much less wealthy than it otherwise would have been. The world is poorer than it otherwise would have been. Fewer people have food to eat. More babies die at childbirth. Like, the Bitcoin maximalists love to make fun of me for saying that. But if you look at the countries with the highest rate of GDP, more babies survive childbirth, right? So if you want more babies to survive childbirth, you want more economic freedom that leads to more economic growth, and more economic growth leads to more babies surviving childbirth. And the way to do that is not having to spend hundreds of millions of dollars fighting the SEC with stupid lawsuits. And so I really would like to see a lot of that sort of thing come to an end.
Yep, he is not a big fan of the government. I can tell you that. Neither am I. And then there was this. This is so bizarre, folks. U.S. Department of Justice demands fraud investigation of FTX. Claims there is substantial evidence that SBF and other managers engaged in fraudulent conduct. But the Justice Department, the entire time I've been alive, the Justice Department doesn't demand investigations. They don't talk about it. They just go in and arrest the people. John Deaton says, you don't say, who are they demanding it to? Themselves? It's like, what are you demanding for? Just go arrest the guy. What in the world is going on? Brian Armstrong is from Coinbase is asking the same question. I don't care how messy your accounting is or how rich you are. You're definitely going to notice if you find an extra $8 billion to spend. Even the most gullible person should not believe Sam's claim that this was an accounting error. Then we had this, Maxine Waters. Now remember, folks, let me make sure you remember, this is the same Maxine Waters who blew this clown a kiss, okay? Maxine Waters, I mean, you couldn't make this clown show up if you tried, folks. She says, Sam Bankman-Fried, we appreciate that you've been candid in your discussions about what happened at FTX. Your willingness to talk to the public will help the company's customers, investors, and others. To that end, we would welcome your participation in our hearing on the 13th. In other words, please, Sam, will you come? Please, Sam, you're such a good guy, Sam. Come talk to us. Library with a classic response to her. Hey, Maxine Waters, we'd like to be treated nicely by the government the way criminals like SBF are. Can you let us know how much to write a check for and where to send it? Feel free to DM if you want to keep this private. It's like, are you kidding me? And then Warren Davidson says, I look forward to the FTX hearing next month. Since our hearing with the enforcement director, where I highlighted concerns about selective enforcement, we've seen a massive failure by the SEC to detect or deter fraud at FTX. No, they didn't just not detect it. They were meeting with the guys and having planning sessions. So let's hold this clown accountable too.
And thankfully, we can clarify some of the things here. I'm
talking about the enforcement director, not Warren Davidson.
Clarify, I think enforcement's a very important function for the SEC. And so thank you and those who are committed to doing it honestly and ethically as part of our government at the Securities and Exchange Commission. But fundamentally, are digital assets exempt from treatment as pump and dump scams?
No, we've seen pump and dump schemes involving digital assets.
How many enforcement actions have been taken by the SEC?
Again, I'd have to provide you that information.
Well, he's making the point. They're going after the people that are not accused of fraud, the ripples, to slow them down, not the actual frauds. This, folks, it stinks to high heaven what's going on at the SEC. Stuart Alderati knows it too. Follow the bouncing regulator. How he provides, this is in 2021, how he provides a clearly expressed test for determining what constitutes an investment contract. That's the SEC in 2021. In 2022, Hinman's speech provided 13 expressly non-exhaustive factors that market participants could consider. So they changed their tune. This is how they roll. Now, you remember Class 18, the missing Class 18 from when Gary Gensler was at MIT? We can't find it anywhere. This person had responded. I know exactly what he said, been looking for it for months. His exact words were, they're basically saying that he said, Satoshi, they know who Satoshi is and say, well, a few people at Goldman may know. So that's what he's saying that was said in Class 18, okay? Well, there was another time here when Gary Gensler said the same thing.
By the way, Bitcoin is on an MIT open source license, if you were wondering about it.
Yeah, what a coincidence.
Satoshi Nakamoto, when he put it on GitHub, used an MIT license.
All right, and then there was this part.
Nobody actually knows who Satoshi Nakamoto, well, maybe my former colleague at Goldman Sachs knows. Nobody.
Yeah, I bet he does. Okay, folks, don't insult your intelligence. These people don't just know who Satoshi is. These people were behind it. It's not a coincidence you're seeing all this stuff, all these things pop up like the FTX thing, and then you find out the CFTC and the SEC were working with them. Same thing with ETHgate. Who were Joseph Lubin? Who was the Brooklyn Project working with? CFTC and SEC. Remember the Charles Gasparino report from 2018? They were working. So everywhere you look where there's something shady going on is the SEC and the CFTC. And everybody's supposed to act like they don't see it. Now, Linda P. Jones, I'm not going to read the whole thread, but she put together a really interesting thread. Look at this. FTX had a master plan. They were in the middle of implementing the big takeover. Having worked at Jane Street, SBF saw how payment for order flow is a license to charge a toll to everyone buying stocks. Like a toll bridge. To cross, you must pay. You redirect the trade orders for stocks to your toll booth and collect guaranteed profits without risk. Ken Griffin, CEO of Citadel, admitted under oath during congressional testimony that currently 40% of all stock trades go through Citadel. Okay? And she says SBF bought part ownership in Robinhood, a firm that makes 80% PFOF through Citadel. His plan was to put RH out of business and control PFOF for stocks and crypto markets. And who are they working with? The CFTC and the SEC, folks. You can't make this up. And there's where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family FTX had a master plan. Thanks for listening.